right, this one might be a long one because today we have 21 different Cinderella story movies that we are going to be ranking based off of how much I enjoyed watching them or how much I remembered enjoying watching them. I did not rewatch for this video, but I have watched most of these multiple times. The ones that I haven't are really not worth watching multiple times. I love a good Cinderella story. So hopefully the day I get this posted will be the 21st anniversary of A Cinderella Story, the original in the A Cinderella Story franchise with Hilary Duff and Chad Michael Murray was released into theaters. I'm really excited, so let's dig into it. Before we do, hi, my name is Ellie. Normally I do motherhood and parenting content as a mom of two and under, but I will say Cinderella has always been one of my favorite stories to watch, and I really don't know why, but I do. So today we're going to be talking about those 21 Cinderella stories. I am going to have to give a quick spoiler warning to every movie that is on this list. There will be chapters, so you can just skip to the next chapter if you don't want spoilers for a particular movie. So let's get started. 21 on this list is If the Shoe Fits from 1990, and this one I feel like I remember falling asleep during. I remember it being kind of boring, and I remember that the male lead was both dumb and insufferable. Did not like him at all. Quick plot points. I believe, if I recall correctly, she's a fashion designer and he is a director looking for the new face for his company. She finds these like magic shoes that make her exactly what he's looking for. That's really all I remember from the movie. I don't even remember how it ends. Number 20 is Cinderella the Enchanted Beginning. Again, this movie was a little bit boring, but I don't remember falling asleep during it. I do remember the acting was not great. Although the acting for the movie in number 21 was also not super great. In The Enchanted Beginning, the male lead has an unexplained accent that his father does not have, but I feel like it was unexplained. Maybe let me know in the comments if you've seen the movie why he has an accent, because it bugged me to no end when I was writing this script. Number 19 is Elle, A Modern Cinderella Tale. This one is known for its horrible acting. The reason why it is above the previous two is because I like Sterling Knight. I actually think he's really funny. The female lead drives me bananas because she is so ridiculously bad at acting. The way she delivers her lines just grates me. I tried watching this a second time a few years ago. I couldn't even make it a minute into the movie before I was like, nope, we're done. I can't do it. A little bit about the story. She's a musician. I guess her song is kind of cute. Her mask is taking off her glasses and putting on an accent. I really don't like that trope. Even though I have glasses and I normally wear contacts and things, I don't really like the trope that glasses automatically make you an ugly duckling or that you don't look like yourself without your glasses. I think it's silly. But also her disguised voice. Part of the reason why she does that is because he thinks she's someone from London. So she puts on a British accent. Fun times there. Number 18 might ruffle some feathers. I'll just tell you what it is. It is Into the Woods with Anna Kendrick and a bajillion other A-list stars. And it's not the very last on my list because I felt like I needed to acknowledge that it's a good movie. I just don't like the story. I think it's produced well, it's costumed well, I think it's casted very well, great singers. The story, especially after Cinderella's wedding, really gives me the ick. I don't like it. I think the movie was way too long. It was really boring. I just feel like the second half of the movie could have just not happened and nobody would have really cared. It definitely would have been higher. You know, I have to rank the movie as it is, and I don't like it. The music is pretty catchy and good. Anna Kendrick's voice is not my favorite some of the time. Number 16 and number 17 are both Hallmark-esque movies. That is part of why they are higher on the list, is because they kind of market themselves as Hallmark-esque, so it's more okay for them to have questionable acting. Number 17 is Cinderella in the Caribbean. This one, I don't remember why I put this one below the other one, but this one is a little bit different story. Her stepmother is remarrying into money, and this guy, he's kind of a family guy, and found out that she had a stepdaughter. The stepmom feels like she has to invite the stepdaughter to the wedding. The stepdaughter and the daughter both think it's super weird. I don't know that I really remember why she's doing it, other than he's a family man and she thinks it will make her look good. The love interest in this is the son of who her stepmom is trying to marry, so that's a little bit odd, I suppose, because it's the future stepbrother of her stepsister. The movie was cute when I watched it, but looking back I was like, that may have not been great. Number 16 is A Cinderella Christmas. This one I think actually was a Hallmark movie. Just some quick plot points. She and her stepsister are in the event planning business, and this event planning business is doing a Christmas party for someone who's going to be inheriting a lot of money, as I recall, and he won't get his inheritance until he finds someone to settle down with. So the purpose of this ball is literally to find a match. Obviously, the stepsister gets an invite because she is taking credit for her sister's work. For one reason or another, plot points, she can't go to the party, but Cinderella ends up going. Of course, the prince falls in love with her. I feel like I remember this movie doing a good job holding him accountable, but at the same time, it was so frustrating because he had a good connection with her as his event planner. He had a good connection with her at the event, and he has a good connection with her after the event is over. He still could not figure it out. Inevitably, the stepsister takes the Cinderella girl's place, and he inevitably figures it out that this girl's not the same girl, but I don't know who is. She confronts him about how dumb he's being about the whole situation. I did enjoy that. Maybe that was why I put it higher up. Sticking with the Christmas spirit, number 15 is CinderElmo. CinderElmo is Sesame Street's version of Cinderella, and of course Elmo is the Cinderfella. I say sticking with Christmas because it used to be recorded on a VHS tape at my house right behind How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the animated version. But we would really only watch CinderElmo at Christmas time after we watched The Grinch. In my mind, it's linked to Christmas, even though it's technically not a Christmas movie. It's really nostalgic for me. That's really why it's this high up. There are some problems when it comes to age differences. He's supposed to be like 4, and he's the love interest for the princess, who is an adult. She's 18 or 19, I think. Happy ending, the dog ends up being the real love interest for the princess. The dog who gets turned human so he can be a footman or something. Cinderella tropes, am I right? The next movie on this list is number 14, Elle Enchanted. I didn't watch it for a long time. I do think Anne Hathaway was good in it. I think the acting is pretty good. I like Prince Char, and I do like that it is inventive as far as why she might be being a servant, other than she's had a rough life since her father died. She is given a gift from a fairy godmother that she is always going to be obedient. Of course, gets her into all sorts of shenanigans, and they play it kind of slapsticky where she literally freezes mid-jump over a barrel because a police officer yells freeze because her stepsisters had forced her to steal something that they didn't even want. I really feel like this is the first on the list with like a real spin to it. The next one on this list is number 13, the original Disney's Cinderella from 1950. You gotta give the original props. It's sort of nostalgic. Some of the songs are really good, but it's overall kind of boring and really focuses on the mice. Anyway, not really my favorite version of Cinderella, even though it is the original. Like I said, we have to give it props, but I don't have to like it the best. Number 12 is A Cinderella Story, If the Shoe Fits. Not to be confused with If the Shoe Fits. A Cinderella Story, If the Shoe Fits stars Sophia Carson. She is basically a slave to her stepfamily, and they go on this like resort vacation to do the Cinderella play. It's kind of almost campy that you have a Cinderella play in a Cinderella movie. In the movie, she's like, oh wow, that's so ironic. Of course, she gets the Cinderella part. Her thing is singing, dancing, and acting. She's a triple threat, which Sophia Carson actually is a triple threat, which almost makes me think I should have moved this up a little bit. I personally don't feel like Sophia Carson's voice fits being Cinderella. I do think that some of her songs are very good. The thing is, I was in college when this came out, and I was so excited to take a break from my homework and watch it. And I gotta say, I was kind of disappointed. There are some of those songs that her voice fits very well, but like her main Cinderella song, I don't feel like her voice fits that song very well, and so it had to go down a little bit for that reason. I will say this though, there is absolutely fantastic dancing and blocking in this movie and in the stage show that they put on in the movie. I do think it was overall pretty good. I forgot, her special thing isn't even these artsy things. She actually is just really into cars. and motorcycles. She's kind of good at everything. Props to her. Going with the I don't like the actress voice, number 11 is Cinderella from 2021 with Camila Cabello. This movie is stacked as far as vocal performance goes and as far as known vocal people. Idina Menzel is in it, for crying out loud, and she slays, but I do think that Camila Cabello's voice doesn't fit. The rasp does not fit. Just like Sophia Carson, the smokiness or rasp or whatever it is in their voice just doesn't really fit a Cinderella to me. I will say Million to One though is a huge bop, even though I don't particularly care for her voice in certain parts. It's too nasally. This one, she is also a fashion designer. I feel like so many of the Cinderella stories, she's a fashion designer. It's a kind of fun story, I feel like, and they have decent costuming and good hair pieces and things. It's kind of Bridgerton-esque in my opinion. Number 10 might rub some people the wrong way, but I actually have Not Cinderella's Type as number 10, and that is for a couple of different reasons. One, it's kind of nostalgic for me, and then two, I feel like they handle the situation pretty well. She's removed from the home because of the situation her like adoptive parents have put her in. She's mistreated, she's banished to the attic, she barely has clothes. I will acknowledge though that the acting is absolutely atrocious in this movie. There are a couple of different parts where I'm like, wow, is this a direction or the acting? Because this is really bad. There's one point where the stepfather, he's reprimanding Indy and he makes this weird face. He makes this weirdly intense face that doesn't fit the scene, and the way he delivered his line was so rigid and so robotic, intense at the same time, and it was really weird. They're foster mom and dad. The foster mom, she's no better. And the male lead is in a couple of other movies that I've seen. His acting is always not great. Editing Elle, I just realized that this character that I'm talking about is a side character in a different Cinderella story and is just as bad in that one as he is in this one. And I would have rather this Cinderella story that I'm thinking of be on this list than some of the other ones that I've already talked about. So honorable mention to A Prescription Love, I believe is what it's called. It's nostalgic for me. I really liked it when I found it in college. It was something that I could turn on to kind of take my mind off of everything, because the story doesn't really make a whole lot of sense where I have to like be fully invested in the movie. I could definitely be doing dishes and not have to worry about missing parts of the story. Number 9 is Happily Never After. And Happily Never After is set in fairy tale land where a wizard is in charge of making sure that everything stays working as it's supposed to. And he has 2 assistants or apprentices named Monk and Mambo. He goes on vacation and Monk and Mambo somehow manage to capture the attention of the evil stepmother, and she becomes extremely evil and she realizes that she loses in the end, and so she messes up everybody's storyline. I like this movie because it's nostalgic. It was one of my sister's favorites growing up. Oh yeah, and I also like that she is a strong character. She's not just a damsel in distress, but she also knows when to accept help. Her best friend helps her throughout the entire thing. She gets help from the dwarves from Snow White. She obviously gets help from Monk and Mambo. The stepmom is also really, really cool. I think she is super great, but she definitely doesn't care about her daughters or Cinderella. Number 8 is After the Ball. After the Ball, again, has some kind of questionable acting, but it was again a movie I could turn on and let it play and not have to really worry about, you know, the storyline or anything like that. I also thought that the 12th night aspect where she had to dress as a boy was kind of interesting. It was a little bit harsh though that she was literally tricking her love interest as the guy, telling him to call the girl her. I thought that was kind of weird. There's a little bit of nostalgia there as well because I've watched it so many times. I think it's actually a decent spin as well. This is another one where she is a fashion designer. Her love interest is actually a shoe designer, so that was interesting. Her father runs a fashion company. He does knockoffs mostly, so once people found out her name, they would not hire her in couture because they assumed that she would give the designs and things to father. She obviously wanted to work in couture. She did not want to be working in retail in the knockoffs. Anyway, she ended up having to go, but then ends up getting fired for leaking designs, but it wasn't her that leaked the designs. Obviously, it was the stepmom and the stepsister. The stepmom is absolutely horrible in this one. I would not say that she definitely could have treated people worse, but in this one, Cinderella's dad is still alive. Most of the time he's not around anymore. He's just gone out of town a lot, so that's why he's kind of gone. I do think the guy is kind of cute. He's got a little accent thing going on. I don't know how to describe why I think he's a little bit cute. Enough of After the Ball. It's kind of making me want to watch it again. Number 7 is another Cinderella story. This one was one that, you know, I really liked growing up, and then I realized that Drew Seeley's character looks so much older than Selena Gomez's character. So this is the second installment in the Cinderella Story franchise, and it stars Selena Gomez and Drew Seeley. She, I think, was like 17 and he was like 26 or something like that. And while that's not a huge age gap when they're older, when they're that young, she's literally a minor, it's a little bit much. I do like this movie though. I feel like there's a good conflict. I feel like, is her name Natalie? The like evil girl that is working with the stepsisters. I loved to hate her. The stepmom is pretty funny in this as well. So the other thing that kind of bothers me about this movie is that Selena, bless her heart, she can sing like crazy. I don't know why they didn't do a singing one for her. They did a dancing thing for her, and she can hold her own in a concert. Her character, Mary Santiago, would not have been able to make it into the conservatory with what was shown in the movie, and the body double that does like a couple of moves is so ridiculously jarring in the movie that it continues to take me out of the movie entirely. Although I still really love this movie. I just couldn't put it any higher, but I will say the music bops. There are some really good hits in there, so Selena does tell me. And then she and Drew Seeley sing Classic, which I remember absolutely adoring this song. I would play it on repeat given the opportunity. The music's good. Number 6, I have Rags. This one I might have some recency bias for, because when my husband found out that I didn't have it on this list but had originally thought I had seen it, realized when I was making the list that I had not seen it, he was like, okay, well, let's watch it. And I was like, are you procrastinating something? And he's like, but I'm tired too, so let's watch it. And I was like, okay, fair. I kind of need to record this video that I want to come out in like 2 days. Sure, I'll watch it. I really can't have a Cinderella ranking and not have Rags on it. It's a cool gender swap. I thought I had seen this movie because it stars Keke Palmer, who starred in Jump In, and I love that movie. It's like a mix of Sneakerella and Let It Shine kind of smashed together, and so I've seen both of those. And so for some reason I thought I had seen Rags when I was originally making this list, and I realized when I watched the trailer, I was like, I have never seen this in my life. Well, I made a mistake. This can't be on the list. So we watched it, and I will say the music is so good. I loved the music, and I loved the messaging of the movie. I felt like it was such an upbeat, happy movie, generally speaking. Like, I mean, the stepfather is horrible. It was nice that one of the stepbrothers was kind of nice to him, and I thought it was so ironic that the nice stepbrother was the one that figured out that the main guy was Rags. So the whole point is people are trying to figure out who this mystery singer guy is. You recognized him by his shoes, which probably is why I thought it was Sneakerella from watching trailers and things. It's not Sneakerella, but Sneakerella will be later on this list. I thought it was cool that there was a gender swap. I also really liked the main lead's skills. He definitely is a singer, a dancer, a rapper, and he can act. I didn't feel like his acting was a problem at all in this movie. Keke Palmer had a really bad fake fall, very early in the movie, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to turn off my brain. The problem was I knew I was going to be ranking this against movies that had so much nostalgia, but I was like, you know what? Recency bias and nostalgia, I feel like it's almost a pretty even battle. I let it do its thing, and this is where it fell at number 6. Number 5 is actually going to be Sneakerella. Like I mentioned, I do feel like Rags and Sneakerella are pretty similar. The difference is, instead of looking for a singer, they are looking for someone to design sneakers. Either way, the prince or princess character is like the daughter of whatever company that the male lead wants to get into. I thought it was a decent spin. I thought it was kind of cool that he would make custom sneakers. Really all I have to say about Sneakerella, I just thoroughly enjoyed watching it, especially as a Disney Plus original movie. Number 4, we have the Disney Cinderella live action remake from 2015. I kind of love that they give the prince character and make him likable. I think he's I mean, he's one of the reasons why I feel like the Disney original is kind of boring. Also, they fix things that actually needed to be fixed. So a lot of the live action remakes, they create more problems instead of fixing them. With this one, with their meet cute before the ball, where she's the reason why he wants to invite every eligible maiden in the land type of thing, that makes sense to me. The fact that he does recognize her at the ball is amazing. And also the fact that he does go out and try to find her. In the original movie, the king is the one that sends the duke to go find her, since nobody really got a good look at her. All they have is a shoe to go off of. Now, in the remake, he comes and he doesn't need the shoe to recognize her. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. I like that she has more character. I like the backstory for the stepmom. I just think there were a lot of good things that were added to this movie to make the story better. And I think that's pretty much the general consensus for this one. The only other thing is Lily James' eyebrows. So Lily James' eyebrows are very dark and her hair is very, very light. I will say though, I'm pretty sure that the cartoon version kind of makes her eyebrows darker too than her hair. I hadn't thought of that about that before. But anyway, it kind of bugged me a little bit watching it the last couple times I've watched it. Number 3 is A Cinderella Story, Once Upon a Song, starring Lucy Hale. This one is probably higher than it should be as far as how good the movie is. I actually think movie-wise, it's probably behind the live action remake of Cinderella, but I enjoy watching it more because it was my dad's favorite. I think the stepmom is absolutely hilarious. That's why my dad really liked it. The music is pretty good. I listen to the music pretty often, actually. Recently, when I was actually watching trailers for all the movies, I realized that Mickey O'Malley is played by the guy who plays Jackson West in The Rookie. So that was interesting to me whenever I watched that movie again, which isn't all that often. It's not often free to watch, so I have to wait until I go home where I have the DVD. I will probably only see Jackson West when I see Mickey O'Malley. Who cares? That's fine. Number 2 is the namesake of this video, A Cinderella Story, starring Hilary Duff and Chad Michael Murray. This one is, the one that started it all. Cinderella is a fairy tale that's adapted a lot. Remakes, readaptations are made quite often for it. I feel like this one is the one that kind of brought it into the modern era. Jennifer Coolidge is the stepmom in this one and she is fantastic. I thought it was interesting that they had the father die from an earthquake trying to save the stepmom and stepsisters. It's interesting though because the Cinderella character, her name is Sam, she doesn't hold that against them. She obviously is not happy that she's mistreated. I thought it was interesting and maybe a little bit of a plot hole. But yeah, you gotta love Jennifer Coolidge as the stepmom. I do like Hilary Duff and Chad Michael Murray, although I do believe there was a little bit of an age gap there as well. I think Chad Michael Murray was like 22 or something though, instead of upper 20s when he was playing this love interest. I think that his character is very cute, kind of dumb though, just like all the other princes where he does not recognize her outside of the ball. And it's all because of a little mask. Gets me every time. Although I was given a little bit different perspective when we all went through 2020 and 2021, where most of us were wearing masks on the lower half of our face. Whenever I interact with people who I met and knew then, I feel like their faces are so different just because I can see the bottom of their face. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just because I can see them in the movie being that person. I know that it's them. So maybe I'm wrong. It kind of started it all. So gotta give it its props. There is one movie that is inherently better and the story is a little bit better, and that would be my number 1 pick for Cinderella Stories is Ever After with Drew Barrymore. So that is my number 1 pick, mostly because I feel like it's a cool concept, even though it's still set kind of in medieval-y times. Maybe not medieval, but like it's set in the past. I love that she's also not a damsel in distress. Honestly, it's one of my mom's favorites, so I really did grow up with this movie. She loves to read. I loved to read growing up. I really like all the times that they had a connection. The only thing I don't like is that the prince doesn't let her tell him what she was going to say. Like, she was going to say, hey, like, I'm not who you thought I was. I never really said I was this person. You just asked me for a name. I gave you my mom's name. I'm not a contest. I like that she has a nice stepsister, and the stepsister helps her a little bit around the house. Like, she obviously is not nearly as apt to do it. She's not able to do it nearly as well, but she definitely still can help around the house, and she's nice to the female lead, the Cinderella character. She does help take care of her when she's whipped. She helps her to understand what her stepmom and stepsister were mad about at one point, and then she does end up helping bring her mom and sister to justice. I think that that's really cool. So if you liked this video, I am so excited you did. I had a ton of fun making it. Make sure you leave a comment on which movie you enjoy the most as far as Cinderella stories go, if it's on this list, or if it's not. Let me know if I've missed one, because I do still love Cinderella stories. Now, normally I make stuff about motherhood and parenting children, things like that. I would love to have you in my community if that's for you, so make sure you subscribe. If that is your thing, you might like this video, which is all about sippy cups and what has worked for our family. So I will see you in the next one. Bye.